All right, that was our correspondent, Niyi Omoni. Now, also joining me on the news to discuss this issue is the legal practitioner, Eugene Odey. Good morning, good afternoon, Eugene, and thank you so much for joining me.
Good afternoon.
All right, Eugene, if you can hear me, what potential legal and constitutional implications do you think will arise from the presentation of the 2024 Appropriation Bill to only 4 or 5 members of Rivers State House of Assembly loyal to Governor Fubara, especially considering the absence of the other 27 ministers?
Well, the other 27 members of the House of Assembly who defected have technically vacated their office by provisions of the Constitution, particularly Section 109, subsection 1, paragraph G. But however, we still have a few members who are left behind to conduct and carry out the business of governance with the governor of the state. Now, I hear your correspondent who was talking about quorum. If you look at the provision of the law that talks about the quorum of the House of Assembly, it does not say every member of the House must be present during plenary to form quorum. Okay? The quorum will be computed and determined based on those who are present at that particular point when the bill is determined. Not that every member of the House must be present. So if it's only 4 members of the House or 5 members of the House that are available now, the quorum will be determined and computed based on those who are available at the floor of the House during plenary. So if there are 4, quorum will be 1/3 of the 4 people who are present. And once they have decided and made, their resolution and passed their resolution, that resolution becomes law. Okay? If it's sent to the governor and he assents to it, it becomes law. It becomes law. So there's really nothing wrong. There's nothing unusual. There's nothing abnormal happening. Don't forget, this is not the first time this is happening. It has happened in those states where the state ran for a long time with just about 7 or so members of the House of Assembly who made laws that were valid and binding on the citizens of those states. River State's case will not be different. If we have only 4 members as it is today, and they are willing to work for the state, of course, the essence of government and governance is pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Constitution, the directive principle of state policies for the interests of the people. So the political crisis will not ground the activities of governance in River State.
All right, well, just before we continue, we sincerely apologize for pulling you out of court. We understand that you actually had something going on. But if you could actually go ahead and still tell us, how do you think the absence of a substantial portion of the Rivers State House of Assembly members during the presentation of the budget, how do you think it will impact the legislative process and even governance and the approval of the 2024 Appropriation Bill? And this is considering the need for a quorum and balanced representation in decision making.
I have just told you in my analysis that, look, unless the entire members of the House of Assembly have vacated their seats, that's when there's going to be a little problem. But as it is now, only 27 have vacated their seats by this defection. And we still have a few number who are still present and ready to carry out and conduct the business of legislation. These 4 people, their activities, whatever they do is legal, binding, and supported by the Constitution. As far as the governor of the state recognizes the legislation, the laws that will be passed from the State Assembly run by these people. You say substantial number. What is substantial? The Constitution did not use the word substantial. The Constitution only computed what a quorum is. A quorum is at least 2/3 of all the members of the House, of all those who are present during plenary and voting.
All right, now let's move away from that.
Every member who was voted into the office, into the House of Assembly must be present.
All right, let's move away from that now. Just before we let you go, in the context of the political tensions and also divisions within the Rivers State House of Assembly, what potential ramifications might emerge if the state's governance, stability, and public service delivery, and what steps could be taken to mitigate the effects of the current discord on legislative functions and the implementation of the budget?
It's very easy. Like I said, I don't think it's going to come to the point where we are going to have the whole 4 years run with just these 4 members of the House of Assembly. All right? because the law has provided for for a solution in situations like this. Where there's vacancy, INEC should conduct by-election to fill those vacancies. And because there is a vacancy, it does not stop the legislature from functioning. So the essence, it's not going to really affect governance as it were. All right, it's not going to frustrate governance. Government will not be grounded. We still have people in the House of Assembly who are willing and ready to work with the governor. And the budget has been approved and sent to them for confirmation. I'm very sure that in a few days from now, they will pass that budget into law. And once it's passed into law, the governor assents it. It becomes a working document, a binding law that will affect the people of Rivers State. All right, so there's really nothing abnormal that is going on.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon to discuss this. And thank you for your view on this.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.